discipline and you have the time to put in the gym and train really good, you put discipline, Eddie is always gonna be there with discipline too, because I'm being with Eddie a lot of years. So I saw Eddie when a lot of fighters come to the gym, and really good fighters, and he come all the time. But if he saw, you come today, train 20 minutes and then go, and then you don't come 4 days or 3 days, okay, and then next day you say, hey, I come in at 12, and you come at 2, so you need to be disciplined, right? So
don't think about it too much. Done saying, I'm done playing. Last time was on the outro. Eddie Reynoso on Ryan Garcia. It is difficult, muy difícil, to work with him. Ryan, he has no focus. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Subscribe. Now, Canelo just fought, and his trainer is in the news, not for Canelo's fight, but talking about his old pupil, Ryan Garcia, who just lost via vicious body shot. Says Canelo Alvarez managed to establish himself as a top representative, yada, yada, yada. Reynoso recently appeared on Marco Antonio Barrera's YouTube channel, made some interesting statements. It says Ryan Garcia is a tough guy to train. In addition to working with Canelo, Reynoso has worked with other fighters such as Oscar Valdez and spent some time with Ryan Garcia. Regarding his experience with King Rai, Reynoso pointed out it's a bit difficult to work with him, and Ryan, he has no focus. Wow. So Reynoso, in this podcast with Marco Antonio, the babyface assassin, he says, quote, one of the hardest to train is Ryan Garcia. He's a very good guy because he's a big media guy. He's very into cameras and other things. He doesn't really have a focus on boxing. This guy doesn't. Now I'm in Los Angeles. Now I'm going to film here. Now I'm going to Las Vegas. Now I'm going somewhere else. So he's losing that focus on boxing. I saw that. He learned some things, but it's a little difficult to work with him, end quote. It says, AS recalls that at the beginning of 2022, Ryan Garcia left the Canelo team after 5 years as the fighter left with trainer Goosen. On April 24th, King Rai suffered his first defeat after losing to Gervonta, and then he left Joe Goosen, which we'll talk about more in this video. Now, that clip you heard at the beginning was Canelo Alvarez when Ryan Garcia first left the gym. And he was telling you that Eddie Reynoso has all the time in the world if you're disciplined. If you're disciplined, and I'm just paraphrasing, then he'll make the time for you. But if you say I'm gonna show up at 12 and you don't come strolling in until 2 p.m., then there's a problem. He says if you say you're basically gonna be there and you don't, or you come and then you just disappear after really not doing anything, then he's saying that's not gonna be copacetic. And he said Ryan Garcia was doing that, and he also implicated Andy Ruiz. He says, I've been with Eddie Reynoso a lot of years, and that hasn't been my story because I've been disciplined. So you got to respect that from Canelo. You know, discipline definitely is the key, self-discipline. All the talent in the world really amounts to a hill of beans if you're not disciplined, and you're squandering your talent, because you could basically have a head start if you're, like, let's say you're a pianist and you're just naturally good at the piano, but somebody who's bad at the piano can eventually catch up to you and hawk you if you're not doing your lessons, or you're not practicing your keys, or, you know, whatever a pianist has to go through to become better, right? And somebody who started off horrific, that has that willpower and that mindset and that discipline, and they will not be stopped, they're going to end up catching you. So we've seen this in the NBA. We've seen this throughout sports. There's someone who's wildly, insanely talented from a natural abilities perspective, but they're out partying, they're out drinking, they're making bad and poor choices, and the rest is history. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's going to be some people that say, yo, ego, but boxing, ego. Of course, Canelo's going to say this. Of course, Eddie Reynoso is going to say this because they're no longer working with him and Ryan Garcia is no longer in the gym. But feast your eyes on this. Ryan Garcia's current promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, has said in a recent interview, and this just came out, Oscar De La Hoya wants Ryan Garcia to take boxing seriously. Boom. You never know. Boom. So you can make all the excuses as to why his old gym would possibly be saying this, but why is his current promoter saying that he wants Ryan to take boxing seriously? So Ego Stradamus strikes again. I'm truly the best in the business. I told you that I always felt that Ryan Garcia, he wasn't invested so much in boxing. You know, he's doing these body shield challenges. He's a clean cut dude. He was in some TV shows. And with that stuff can come an ego, no pun intended. But you got to keep your head level because boxing is not that type of sport. You got a guy who comes from the slums, and that's not a diss, but there's areas of Baltimore that you wouldn't want to be caught at night lacking, you know what I mean? And I've been to Baltimore, so I can attest to this. I covered Tank's fight out there when he fought Nunes. But that's the thing. You got a guy who comes from the mud for real. You know, he's had people who aren't here for the journey that he started with and stuff like that. He always tells you that you're not going to beat someone like that who is from the trenches and is disciplined. Now, luckily for Gervonta Davis, I think he had his own like little spurts with like not being disciplined. Like he even said in a recent podcast, he stopped drinking because it was making him an angry person and things like that. But luckily, Mayweather Promotions and Al Heyman, they're amazing with how they track their fighter and groom their fighter. So Tank was able to go through those things early enough in his career, still stay undefeated, and it didn't come back to bite him. And what I'm talking about is like missing weight. There's a couple fights where he missed weight and stuff. And it looked like some people were even saying, oh, he's going to be the next Broner. He's not disciplined. But shout out to Calvin Ford, Coach K, and Gervonta and GTD Promotions. They all got it together. And Tank hasn't been missing weight. He got a nutritionist. He's kind of stayed out the way, you know what I mean? And he's making his weight no problem. And his performances look more mature. Like he's looking super sharp, not making any mistakes and having fun in there, doing what he wants in there. So kudos to Tank. Ryan Garcia looks bad because he's the young hotshot and he called out Tank all these years only to get stopped by the body. And now everybody is questioning your discipline. But just like Canelo's poor performance with John Ryder, Ryan Garcia is facing criticism with his last showing, getting stopped, and people are questioning his discipline. So the great thing about that is I believe in the human spirit is powerful. So Ryan Garcia, just like Canelo, for different reasons, they have an awesome opportunity to show and prove people wrong. So if people are saying you're not disciplined, here's what Ryan can do. Show us, become disciplined. You dig? Best in the business. And I'm out.